Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Ryan Awesome, and welcome to the Ryan Awesome Show. Now, before we get into the show, first off, man, if you haven't done this already, man, what are you waiting for, man? Hit the thumbs up. Hit the thumbs up, and if you're new here, hit that subscribe button. And right next to that subscribe button, there's a bell. Make sure you click on that bell so you're the first ones to know when my next video will come out because I'm here each and every single week. So make sure you hit the thumbs up if you haven't already. Hit the thumbs up. And if you're new here, hit the subscribe button. And then next to that subscribe button, there's a bell. You click on that bell. And when you click on that bell, you'll be the first ones to know when my next video is uploaded. And one last thing. Don't forget to be awesome. So yeah, don't forget to be awesome. And yeah, man, sit back, chillax, grab something to eat, grab something to drink because you're watching the Ryan Awesome Show. And once again, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Ryan Awesome Show. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Ryan Awesome, and welcome to the Ryan Awesome Show. Now, today on the Ryan Awesome Show, we'll be talking about Impact Wrestling for July 8th, 2021. Now, man, with this show, it was okay. It was all right. It wasn't the best show. It wasn't a great show. You know, the one thing I did enjoy on this show was the contract signing or the lead up to the contract signing with Omega and Callihan. The lead up to it, with Callihan getting arrested and them framing Sami Callihan. I thought that was brilliant, like really smart, so that he couldn't sign a contract. So I thought the lead up to the sign up or the lead up to the contract signing was really good and brilliant. And as far as the I guess the build up to the pay per view or the Slammiversary, like their build ups, dude. The build ups to their pay per views, it just feels repetitive, dude. It feels repetitive with the preview matches. Like like say for example, if it's a tag team match, they'll have like each member of each team or one member of each team going up against each other tonight or in on next week's show. And I'm not a fan of that because like dude, you giving away parts of the match by having both competitors touch each other and having them compete against each other. But yeah, now we did have some fun matches on the show. I really didn't care about most of the matches on this show, but you know, most some of the matches on the show they were fun. But yeah, and then other things I didn't really agree with. The outcome of that Fatal 4-Way match really didn't agree with it. And that number one contenders knockouts tag team championship number one contenders match, didn't agree with it. Didn't agree with the outcome. Didn't even know why the match even happened. But I'm gonna get into it though. But overall, it turned out to be an okay show. It wasn't bad. It was better than last week's show. I'll tell you that because last week, man, last week's show, it felt like nothing happened. It felt like nothing happened. Nothing was important on the show. But the six-man tag team match from last week, that's the only thing that was important last week. But yeah, man, that was Impact Wrestling, man. Impact Wrestling for July 8th, 2021 on the Ryan Awesome Show, man. And just like what I said in the intro before the show even start, there's an intro. I say it in my intro all the time. If you haven't done this already, man, hit the thumbs up. And if you're new here, hit the subscribe button. And then next to that subscribe button, you click on the bell. There's a bell right next to it. You click on it, and then when you click on it, you'll be the first ones to know when my next video is uploaded because I am here every single week. And so yeah, so first off, man, we start off the show with Kenny by God Omega, who is the AEW World Champion, the Impact World Champion, and the AAA Mega Heavyweight Champion. And so he came with Don Callis, and so Gia Miller had caught up to them. And so yeah, Callis and Omega, they were both happy or excited about the contract signing. And so So Callis, he started to talk about Sami Callihan, he called him a degenerate. He called Sami Callihan a degenerate and a troglodyte. And so basically they were excited about the contract signing. And so the reason why they were happy was, we found out later on in the show why they were excited about it. And so yeah, that was it with that. And so right after that we had our first match of the night. We had Brian Myers, the most professional wrestler. Brian Myers with Sam Beale in his corner versus Jake something. And so yeah, this is good. This is a good match. But these guys, they need to stay away from each other, man. Like they compete. Like they've been in matches, match after match after match. They had matches with each other already, and they need to move on to something else. So yeah, so we had both of these guys. They went right after each other at the start of the bell, and then Jake, he had took control of the match at that point. And so Myers, he had tripped up Jake on the ring apron, and then Myers, he had hit a suplex. He had a suplex on Jake on the stage ramp, and then Sam Beale, he had gave Jake a cheap shot from outside the ring, and the referee didn't see it. And so yeah, so Jake, he started to come back. He started to, started fighting back. He had a sit out powerbomb to Myers, and he kicked out. And then Myers, he hit an impaler DDT, shades of the rated R superstar Edge, his former mentor Edge. And so yeah, we had a diving elbow drop to Jake, which was beautiful, a beautiful elbow drop from Myers, and Jake had kicked out. And to end the match, we had Jake something. He hit his finishing move, the black hole slam, to Myers to win the match. So Jake something wins the match. And so basically in this match, it was a stipulation. If Myers if Myers loses to Jake, he'll admit that Jake is a professional. And if Jake loses, then he'll tell Myers that he's a professional. So Myers, he had lost, and so Myers, he tried to run away. And so Jake, he had stopped him, and he wanted Myers to admit that Jake is professional. And so yeah, so Myers, he grabbed the microphone, he started talking. He wasn't getting to the point, so he was slowly getting to his point. And so when he was about to say the professional, he was a professional. Yeah, Bill, he had attacked Jake from behind, so the heels had ganged up on him. So Myers and Bill had ganged up on Jake, and so you had Always Ready. Matt Cardona, his theme music had played, and he ran out to the ring, and he fought off Brian Myers and Sam Bill. So Matt Cardona is back in Impact Wrestling, and we might see a tag team match with these four, Myers and Bill versus Jake and Cardona. Might see that, but I don't want it to happen. I really don't. Jake, he needs to move on to something else, man. Since he already beaten Myers, he's beaten Myers, and he beat him, man. He beat him already. Like why are they still fighting? Why are they still fighting each other? Like Jake, like I said this time and time and time again, bro. He should have been added to that X Division, the Ultimate X match. He should be the one fighting in that Ultimate X match because he actually beat someone in that match. He beat someone that's in that match, and the person that he's beaten is in the match. So that don't make no sense, dude. So yeah, we had a lot of logic gaps on this show, bro. Not a lot, but we had some logic gaps on this show. But yeah, man. But Jake and Myers, they need to move on to something else, man. Jake, he needs to go after the X Division Championship. He needs to go after the X Division Championship because like right now, man, he's doing nothing. He is doing absolutely nothing, nothing. And so we might see a tag team match with these guys. And so yeah, that was it with that. And so yeah, so right after that we had Gia Miller. She interviews the virtuosa Deonna Purrazzo, who is the Impact Knockouts champion. And so Gia Miller, she had asked Deonna Purrazzo about what's next for Deonna Purrazzo now that she went through everybody on the roster. And so Purrazzo, she said that she started talking about Susan and Kimber Lee, saying that she never needed them, never needed them on getting what she wanted. And so Purrazzo, she has said that tonight she will issue an open challenge tonight to anyone in that locker room who thinks that they can dethrone the virtuosa. And that was it. So an open challenge from Deonna Purrazzo. And so yeah, so right after that we had Gia Miller again. She was backstage with Sami Callihan, who was on his phone, and he did not feel like being bothered. And so Gia Miller, she interviewed Sami Callihan, and so yeah, she had asked about the contract signing. So she gotten Omega and Callis's thoughts on the contract signing tonight, and now she wanted Sami Callihan's thoughts on the contract signing. And so Callihan, he was promoting the match, talking about him stepping in the ring with Kenny Omega. Kenny Omega is stepping inside of the ring with the death match wrestler, or the death machine. And so yeah, so midway when Sami Callihan was talking, you had a security guard had came in and interrupted the whole interview, and he asked Sami Callihan a question. He asked, "Are you Sami Callihan?" And so the security guard has said that, there's an arrest warrant for Sami Callihan from Callis, from Don Callis. And so yeah, so the security guards, you had a group of security had locked Sami Callihan in handcuffs, so Sami Callihan got arrested. And so Sami Callihan, he was yelling, "This is BS. I never touched Callis. Like I never came across Callis. I never touched Callis." So yeah, he was yelling, this is BS. This is BS. And so yeah, that was it. That was it with that, man. So Callihan was arrested. So yeah, Callihan was arrested. So that was their plan. So they got Callihan arrested so that he wouldn't sign the contract tonight. And so yeah, that was it with that. And so right after that, we had Deonna Purrazzo, the virtuosa Deonna Purrazzo, who is the Impact Knockouts champion, versus Lady Frost, who is the challenger, the person that stepped up to the challenge. And so yeah, they mentioned on commentary that Lady Frost, this is her debut in Impact Wrestling, and that she has been on AEW for a little bit. But yeah, man, your Impact, your debut match, man, your debut match against the champion, that's one hell of a debut, bro. So yeah, so Deonna Purrazzo, she was talking trash to Lady Frost, saying that, is this is my opponent? Are you serious? This is my opponent? Basically calling her a joke. And so we had Frost, she had a corkscrew kick to Purrazzo, kind of like the Trouble in Paradise. And then at one point we had Frost, she went for a moonsault, but she missed. She landed awkwardly, dude. She landed right, not on her stomach, but she landed on her ankle. She landed right on her feet. And so, yeah, it looked like she had tweaked something. And so Purrazzo, she had went for the armbar to Frost. Well, first off, she had one move, and she went for the cover, and she stopped her own cover, and then she went for the armbar, to add more punishment. So she locked in the armbar to Frost, and Frost had tap out. So Frost taps out, so therefore Deonna Purrazzo wins the match. And so right after the match, Deonna Purrazzo, she had grabbed the microphone. She was talking about Frost calling her a building block. And Purrazzo, she had said that she is the greatest Impact Knockouts champion of all time. And so Gail Kim, a former Impact Knockouts champion, she came out, she interrupted Deonna Purrazzo when she was speaking. And so Purrazzo, so Purrazzo, she has said that it's an honor. It is an honor to stand foot inside this ring with Gail Kim. And so, but Purrazzo, she had told Gail Kim, like, hey, even though I respect you and everything, don't ever interrupt me again. Don't ever interrupt me ever again. And so Kim, she had calmed down Purrazzo, and she acknowledged it. She acknowledged Purrazzo's success in Impact Wrestling. And so Kim, she had told Purrazzo about her championship match at Slammiversary, and and her needing an opponent, and Purrazzo saying that she doesn't care like who her opponent was. And so like Kim, she was talking about the championship match, so Purrazzo was thinking that Kim was challenging for the championship, and so Purrazzo was getting excited on that, because Gail Kim is her idol and everything, so she was excited. And so Kim, she had said that you're not gonna be fighting me because I'm retired and I don't have nothing else to prove in this business. I don't have nothing to prove. So the only person that has anything to prove is you, Purrazzo. And so Kim, she had told Purrazzo like, hey, you will have an opponent at Slammiversary, but that opponent is a mystery. You don't know who your opponent is. And so Purrazzo, she was upset about that. And so Kim, she had told Purrazzo like, hey, what are you getting upset for? This is what you wanted. Like you didn't care who your opponent was. And so and you call yourself the greatest knockouts champion. So why not have your opponent be a mystery challenger, to prove yourself? And so, so she said that her opponent would be a mystery. We don't know who it is. And so Kim, she had told Purrazzo to, prepare for it. Prepare for your match. Prepare for your championship match. Because your challenger is already prepared for you. And so Kim Kim has said that at Slammiversary, your world will be changed. I think that's their tagline for Slammiversary, your world will be changed. And that was it, man. That was it with that. Who will her opponent be? I don't know. I do not know. I do not know who her opponent will be. Who will it be? Maybe a recently released WWE superstar. I don't know. Will it be Ruby Riott? I don't know. I don't know. that's my guess. Maybe Ruby Riott, but I can see Ruby Riott in AEW. But yeah, it could be anybody, man. It could be anybody. Or Mickie James. What if it's Mickie James? Maybe Mickie James coming in Impact. I don't know. But I think she's in NWA right now. But yeah, we don't know who it is, but it could be anybody. But yeah, that was it with that. And so yeah, so right after that we had the Swingers Palace. So yeah, we had the Swingers Palace. Nobody was there, but the Swingerellas. So you had the Swingerellas. They were talking to each other, and yeah, of course nobody was there. Johnny Swinger wasn't there. Johnny Bravo wasn't there. The only person that was there was Hernandez, the security guard, Hernandez. And so yeah, so Sabin he has showed up. Chris Sabin has showed up in the Swingers Palace. Because that's his place too. He loves showing up at the Swingers Palace. And so he had showed up. He had asked, "Where is everybody?" And so Alicia Edwards, who was one of the Swingerellas, she had told Sabin that, Bravo, he has business. He has business to take care of her. He have business to take care of. And so yeah, we ended up finding out what that business was later on in the show. But I'm gonna get into that later. But yeah, so Edwards had told Sabin that Bravo had business to take care of. And so Sabin he had sat at the poker table and he started flirting with Swingerella number 2. And so yeah, so out of nowhere you had Moose. You had Moose, he attacked Chris Sabin in the Swingers Palace. And so Hernandez he tried to break it up because of course no fighting in the Swingers Palace. So Hernandez he tried to break up the fight, but Moose had took him out. And that was it, man. That was it. So of course we have Chris Sabin versus Moose at Slammiversary. And yeah, man, so that should be good, man. Moose is winning. Moose all the way, bro. And so yeah, that was it with that. And so right after that, we had Gia Miller again. Gia Miller, she interviews the ultimate finesser, Chris Bey. And so she had asked about, Chris Bey, what led to him choosing his side from last week. And Bey, he was like, I sat back for a while and I finally chose a side. And the reason, just because I chose a side, just because I chose the side that I chose, just because I chose that side, that does not mean I am friends with those guys. I'm not friends with Josh Alexander. I'm not friends with Trey Miguel. I'm not friends with who else? Petey Williams. I'm not friends with those guys. You know, like I'm not friends with them. And when it came down to choosing a side, I just chose a side. I just chose a side, and that was it. Like, who cares, man? I said this last week, man. I said it the week before the last week. Like, who cares, man? Who cares whose side he's on? You fighting for the X Division Championship. You're not fighting for a Trios Championship. You're not fighting for a Tag Team Championship. You're fighting for the X Division Championship. Every man for himself. Who cares? Nobody cares. But yeah, that was it with that, man. And so yeah, so right after that we had a handicap match. So yeah, it was W. Morrissey versus Manny Smith, Jason Page, and Deonte. I think that was their names. It really don't matter who their names were because they lost to W. Morrissey. And so yeah, so W. Morrissey, he had grabbed the microphone. He talked about Eddie Edwards because Eddie Edwards had challenged him to a match at Slammiversary. And so Morrissey, he had accepted the match. And so Morrissey, he had said that tonight, right now, I'm going to show you exactly what I'm going to do to you at Slammiversary. And so, yeah, the match had started. Morrissey, he had absolutely obliterated these guys. He took them out with choke slams. He had one guy with a last ride power bomb, and he had a F5 on Smith, and then he had pinned all 3 guys at the same time. So he stacked those guys up on top of each other. And he just pinned them Roman Reigns style. So he tried to pull off a Roman Reigns. And so yeah, that was it with that. So Morrissey wins the match, and that was it, man. Squash match, killed those guys, man. And so yeah, so right after that we had Gia Miller. She interviews Don Callis, the Invisible Hand, and so she asked Callis about Sami Callihan's arrest from earlier, and Callis being assaulted. Like you sent a warrant for Sami Callihan because you were assaulted, and so Callis, he was talking about Callihan, calling him a hazard to the locker room and everybody in Impact Wrestling. And so Callis, he was threatened. He felt threatened by Callihan. And so Callis, he showed a video or footage of, him being attacked by Sami Callihan. And so clearly it wasn't Sami Callihan. It was somebody dressed as Sami Callihan. I knew that from the start. Like, you had one guy, like, the guy he had marker driven, like the tattoos that Sami Callihan had, it looked like somebody drew over his arm with markers. So yeah, we all knew it wasn't Sami Callihan. So the guy dressed up as Sami Callihan had punched Don Callis in his face. And so right after the footage, right after they showed the footage of Don Callis getting punched in the face by Sami Callihan, yeah, Scott D'Amore, he had interrupted, the promo from Don Callis, and he apologized to Don Callis on getting attacked by Callihan. And so Scott, he has said that there still will be a contract signing. There will still be a contract signing. And Callis, he was confused about it. He was like, how can there be a contract signing when Callihan is locked up in jail? And so the more he said that he has an idea. He has an idea. And he still wants Callis. He still wants Callis and Omega to show up later on tonight in the ring for that contract signing. Because they do have time, they do have extra time. So if it doesn't happen tonight, it can happen next week. So yeah, that was it with that. And so yeah, so right after that, we had the number one contenders Impact Knockouts Tag Team Championship match. So the winners of this match will be the number one contenders for the Knockouts Tag Team Championships. And it was Susan and Kimber Lee versus Rosemary and Havok. And so yeah, going into this match did not make any sense at all. It did not make any sense. Like, first off, man, you giving a number one contender shot to two teams that already lost to the champions. So why exactly do they deserve another championship opportunity when they both of these teams lost? They lost to Fire and Flavor. So why are they both competing for an opportunity for a championship? It don't make no sense, dude. It ain't make no sense. And that's the point. They don't have no tag team. They don't have no tag team division in the women's division. Like, dude, get rid of the tag team titles. Get rid of the Impact Knockouts tag team titles, and just have everybody compete after the Impact Knockouts championship. Have everybody go after Deonna Purrazzo instead of creating some tag team titles for the women. Like, dude, we don't need no tag team titles for the women. I said this last week, man. We don't need no NXT women's tag team titles. We don't need no WWE women's tag team championships, tag team titles. And we don't need the Impact Knockouts tag team titles. We don't. Because there's not enough women to vie after the championships. There's not enough tag teams in the women's division to compete for those titles. Rosemary and Havok, they're not a real team. The only legit team in that division is Fire and Flavor. That's the only legit team in that division. But yeah, this match, this is terrible, man. This is a terrible match. But yeah, so Havok and Rosemary, they took out Susan. And then the babyfaces, they took control of the match. And then Lee, she went right after Rosemary's eyes. And so Lee, she started kicking Rosemary over and over and over again. And so Lee and Susan, they had a miscommunication at one point because they didn't know what they wanted to do in a match. I guess they tried to go for a double team move, but they end up, not hitting the move. And so Havok took out Lee and Susan. And then Havok had kicked Lee into, well, she kicked Susan into Lee. And so Lee went falling off the top rope. And so to end the match, we had a spear to Susan from Rosemary to win the match. So Rosemary and Havok wins the match and are the number one contenders for the Impact Knockouts Tag Team Championships. And so yeah, that was it. Terrible, terrible stuff. Terrible match. So right after that we had a backstage segment from Tenille, Dashwood, and Kaleb. So they were backstage there on their show. Their show they spoke. They're a guest on their own show. Like they had their show backwards. You're supposed to be the host of your own show, but they're the guest of their own show. It don't make any sense. And then the guest, they have the guest labeled as the host when it should be the other way around. Tenille Dashwood should be the host, and the person that she invited on the show should be the guest, but they have it backwards. But yeah, so they were both on the show. They were talking, and then they introduced Jazz to the show. And so Jazz that came out, sat on the couch, and so Jazz and Tenille Dashwood, they were arguing about everything that happened with Jordynne Grace and Rachael Ellering and all that stuff. And Tenille Dashwood trying to find a partner and all that stuff, and she blamed Jazz for ruining all that. And so Jazz, she said, I do not have time for this. I don't have time for this. And so she tried to walk away. And so Dashwood, she had told Jazz to walk away and quit just like you did your wrestling career. And so Jazz, she got offended by that. And so Jazz, she had got in Dashwood's face and told her like, hey man, if you have anything to say, just say it to my face. And so Dashwood, she backed away, she cowered away, and she just said, I'm just a guest on this show. I'm just a guest on this show. I'm a professional. This is my show. I'm just a guest on my show. And so she backed away, and so Jazz tried to walk away, and then Dashwood had took out Jazz from behind, and so Dashwood attacked Jazz from behind, and then we went to commercial break after that. And we came back from commercial break. We had Rachael Ellering and Jordynne Grace. They had ran inside. They came inside the room, and to check on Jazz. And so they were wondering like why did Jazz go in there by herself and all that stuff. And then Jazz found out it was a setup. And so yeah, that was it. And so right after that, we had Rachael Ellering and Jordynne Grace. They had spoke about Tenille Dashwood and Kaleb's heinous attack. And so yeah, so Ellering and Grace, they both said that Kaleb and Dashwood took it personal. They made it personal when they put their hands on Jazz. And them they're just getting really sick and tired of Tenille Dashwood and Kaleb. And them trying to break them up, but it didn't work. And so yeah, Jordynne Grace, she had mentioned something about a list, and they will cross Kaleb and Tenille Dashwood off that list, and that was it. So we might get still be getting a tag team match. I'm still waiting for that heel turn, man. I'm still waiting for that heel turn for Jordynne Grace. Jordynne Grace, she did not need to be in no tag team. She did not need to be in a tag team. But yeah, everything is good right now. But I'm telling you, man, there will be a heel turn. We ain't gonna see it coming. We are not gonna see it coming, but it's gonna happen, dude. It is gonna happen. And so I pitched for it to happen at Slammiversary because it felt like everything was like was it about to explode? It felt like everything was about to explode with the heel turn, but they came back together, Jordynne Grace and Rachael Ellering. So I think something else might happen. Something else might happen that just caused Jordynne Grace to just snap. I don't know what it would be, but I'm thinking the heel turn is gonna happen at Slammiversary in front of a live crowd, in front of fans for the first time. So yeah, I guess we'll see. I guess we have to wait and see what happens next. But that's my prediction. That's my prediction on the Slammiversary with Jordynne Grace if she's on the show. And so yeah, man, that was it with that. And so right after that, we had Rich Swann. We had Rich Swann and Willie Mack. They came out to the ring. They had spoke. They talked about Violent by Design and their blindside attack from last week. And so they challenged Violent by Design for the Impact World Tag Team Championships. And so you had TJP and Fall Out Boy. They interrupted because they were also attacked by Violent by Design. And they said that they deserve an opportunity for the Impact Tag Team titles. And they were both of these teams, they were arguing with each other, telling each other to go in the back of the line. Like we deserve this shot. And so you had Violent by Design, they interrupted. That's Eric Young, Diener, Rhino, and Big Man Joe Doring, who are the Impact World Tag Team Champions, Freebird Rule. And so they got interrupted by the Good Brothers. So Violent by Design, they stepped in the ring with all four of those guys. And so you had the Good Brothers. You had the Good Brothers that came out. And so at that point I was like, with the Good Brothers, I was like, man, the Good Brothers, I was not expecting them to come out, but they came out. And so They were speaking in an accent. They were speaking like they were in church, praising praise the Lord, hallelujah, praise be to God, and all that stuff. They were saying all that, and so yeah, they wanted a tag team championship match too. And at that point, I was like, the Good Brothers are like, what have they done? What have they done? They've been running around with Kenny Omega. So at that point, I was like, they don't deserve a championship match. They don't deserve a tag team title match. But yeah, so they wanted a shot at the tag team titles. And so yeah, so Tommy Dreamer had came out, and so yeah, so the overseer Tommy Dreamer came out, and so he said that Scott had sent him out there. Scott D'Amore had sent Tommy Dreamer out. That's what Dreamer had said, that Scott had sent him out. And so Dreamer, he had said that there will be a tag team four-way match for the Impact World Tag Team titles at Slammiversary. But tonight there will be a fatal four-way match, or a four-way match, with one member of each team. So it's gonna be Deonna, TJP, Karl Anderson, and Rich Swann going up right now in a four-way match. And so we have an impromptu match. So it's an impromptu match. Not a fan of impromptu matches. Just not a fan of it. Like I'll wait for the match to happen. But yeah, they made the impromptu match with Deonna versus TJP versus Karl Anderson versus Rich Swann. And so yeah, man, this is fun. This is a fun match, but I did not agree with the outcome. Did not agree with it. But yeah, so Swann and TJP, they were going back and forth, so they have history with each other. They know each other really well. Back in their days in WWE in the Cruiserweight division and in the Cruiserweight Classic. They had a great match in the Cruiserweight Classic several years ago. So yeah, so both of these guys, they were going back and forth. And then Deonna, he had took out Swann, and we had a power slam to Swann from Deonna. And Swann, he had dove over the top rope outside the ring on everybody with a Swanton bomb. And then Anderson, he tried to team up with Deonna, try to take out, Swann or TJP or one of these guys. But Deonna, he had attacked Anderson, so Deonna, he had thought better of it and attacked Anderson. And so at that point, everybody, they started hitting each other with their signature moves and all that stuff. We had a running corner boot, or a running corner boot to Anderson from TJP. And then we had TJP hit his finishing move, the detonation kick, or one of his finishing moves, the detonation kick to Anderson. And so TJP tried to go for the Mamba Splash, the Frog Splash, the Mamba Splash on, I think it was on Deonna, either Deonna or Swann. It was on one of those guys, or Anderson, or one of these guys. They tried to hit it on Anderson. And so Deonna, he had hit his finishing move, the Deonna DDT to Rich Swann. And TJP, he had broke up the pin at the last second. If he was not there, that would have been it. That would have been the end of the match. And so to end the match, we had Karl Anderson, he had the gun stun, his finishing move, the gun stun to Deonna to win the match. So Karl Anderson wins the match. And yeah, man, I do not know why Deonna needed to get pinned. I mean, I see why, because he's the weaker member of Violent by Design. But like champions, just champions being pinned in the ring in a non-title match, I'm not a fan of that. It like it just it just lessens the championship. It lessens the championship, and it lessens the person that's holding that championship. It makes the championship, it makes everything look bad. And when you have a champion losing in a non-title match, it just makes them look weak. But yeah, I don't know why Deonna needed to lose. Could Swann couldn't lose? Swann couldn't lose? I don't know. I really don't know. And so yeah, but it was good. The match was good. It was fun. But I don't know why Deonna needed to get pinned. I don't know why the champion needed to get pinned in a match. And why are you giving away parts of the match tonight, right now? And then they have another match next week. They have another four-way match next week. Like, dude, that's their problem, dude. That, like, when they build up to their shows, it's repetitive, man. It's repetitive with these, one member of each team and all that. One member of each team going after each other. Going after the challenger and the champion and all that stuff. Yeah, not a fan of that. Just save the match. Just save it. Just save it. And so yeah, so that was it. So right after the match, we had Rhino and Joe Doran. They stared down the Good Brothers. So I thought that was a great sight, because all four of these guys, they are big freaking dudes. So yeah, so they were staring down each other. Gallows and Doran, I enjoyed the sight. because Gallows, he's just that tall. He's just as tall as Joe Doring, or maybe a little bit taller than Doring. So I thought it was a great stare down from these guys. And so yeah, that was it with that. So yeah, so right after that we had a backstage segment from Kimber Lee and Susan. They were backstage. Susan, she was upset about losing earlier tonight. And Kimber Lee, she said that she had an idea. She tried to calm Susan down because Susan was going crazy. And so at least she had an idea. And so we had Father James Mitchell. He had showed up, and so he wanted to speak to Susan. And inside a room or a lair, he called it the lair, his lair. And so yeah, because James Mitchell, he's the only person that can get Su Yung out of Susan. And so Mitchell, he had asked Kimberly, are you sure? Are you sure you want me to do something like this? Are you sure you want me to do this? And so Lee, she was like, yes, this is what I want. This is what I want. This is how we're gonna get the tag team titles. And yeah, this is what I want. This is what I want. And so yeah, so Lee, she's hoping that it will work. And so Mitchell, he said, trust me. He told Kimberly to trust him. And so yeah, that was it with that. And so before we get into the contract signing, let's talk about next week's show and the match card for Slammiversary. So yeah, the Slammiversary card, we have the main event. We have the main event is gonna be Kenny by God Omega with Don Callis in his corner. So Kenny by God Omega, who is the AEW World Champion, the AAA Mega Heavyweight Champion, and the Impact World Champion, versus the Draw, Sami Callihan. So yeah, that's the main event for Slammiversary on next Saturday. And also we have Deonna Purrazzo, the virtuosa Deonna Purrazzo, who is the Impact Knockouts champion, versus a mystery opponent, and the match will be for the Impact Knockouts championship. And yeah, of course, the Impact World Championship match, Kenny Omega versus Sami Callihan, will be for the Impact World Championship. And we have another match. We have Moose versus Chris Sabin at Slammiversary. And also we have the Fatal 4-Way. We have the Fatal 4-Way tag team match, or a Tornado tag team match. Violent by Design. So representing Violent by Design, you have Rhino and Big Man Joe Doring. Excellent choice. Excellent choice. And so it's Joe Doring and Rhino of Violent by Design versus Rich Swann and Willie Mack versus TJP and Fallah Bah versus the Good Brothers. And that's that Fatal 4-Way Tornado tag or Tornado match for the Impact World Tag Team Championships. And also we have the Ultimate X match. So we have the X Division Championship Ultimate X. So it's going to be Trey Miguel versus Ace Austin versus Josh Alexander, who is the reigning and defending X Division champion, versus Chris Bey versus Rohit Raju. That should have been Jake's spot, I'm just saying. Versus Petey Williams. And also, so that's the card for Slammiversary. And also next week, we have an 8-man tag team match. So this match should not be happening at all. So yeah, so next week we have Ace Austin and Rohit Raju and Madman Fulton and Shira versus Josh Alexander, who is the X Division champion, versus Chris Bey. I mean, not versus Chris Bey. Versus, so Austin, Rohit Raju, Shira, and Madman Fulton versus Josh Alexander, Chris Bey, Petey Williams, and Trey Miguel in an 8-man tag. So this match should not be happening, man. It should not be happening, dude. You already gave away the match already. You already gave away the match. And so also we have a one-on-one match, or a tag team match rather. It's gonna be Tenille Dashwood and Kaleb with a K versus Jordynne Grace and Rachael Ellering. So I guess if you want to call it a mixed tag team match, because you have Kaleb in that match. No, why are you competing in women's matches? I don't know. It don't make any sense. Compete in your own division, dude. So yeah, we have Havok versus Tasha Steelz, who is one half of the Impact Knockouts Championship. So yeah, this is another problem. Another problem when a champion and a challenger compete in a tag team situation. So yeah, not a fan of it, man. You're giving away parts of the match. And so if Tasha Steelz lose the match, then the champion lose. None of these people can lose because they're in a match there in a pay-per-view match, so they should not be losing it. Like a champion and a challenger should look strong in their championship match, and you're gonna have them lose. You're gonna have either one of them lose when they can't. Neither one of them can take a loss. Like, dude, that don't make no sense. No sense. And then also we have another fatal four-way. We have a fatal four-way with the big guys. So the big guys of the group, the bigger guys of their tag team. So we have Fallah Bahh versus Willie Mack versus Luke Gallows or Doc Gallows or whatever you want to call him versus big man Jordynne, who is one half of the Impact World Tag Team Champions. So that's next week. So yeah, just like what I said earlier, man, you're giving away parts of the match. Don't do it, man. Do not do it. But they'll do it. So yeah. Yep, so that's the card for next week. Slammiversary is looking good, but next week's show, man, look like a throwaway show, man. But yeah, so yeah, that was it. That's it with that next week's show and the match card for Slammiversary. So right after that, we had the contract signing. We had the contract signing with Kenny by God Omega and Don Callis and Sami Callihan. So Callihan, of course, he was not there. So yeah, so Scott, he was in the middle of the ring. He spoke about the contract signing, and he introduced Kenny Omega and Don Callis to the ring. And so they both came out to the ring. And so Callis, he spoke about Callihan's arrest and him being violent and all that stuff. And Callis, he said that he was attacked by Callihan. And, and he said that, Callihan is not here. Callihan is not here, but the world champion is here. Kenny by God Omega is here. And so Omega, he grabbed the contract. They read over the contract. And so Omega, he signed the contract. And so right after he signed the contract, the lights had cut off. It was flickering on and off. And so, yeah, you had a video that showed on the Titantron. That same video that Don Callis had showed earlier with him getting punched in the face by Sami Callihan. And so, yeah, they played the rest of the video. And it was Johnny Bravo. It was Johnny Bravo of the Swingers Palace. He was dressed up as Sami Callihan. And so they planned this whole thing. And so, yeah, Callis and Johnny Bravo, they were celebrating in the video. And so yeah, Scott, he couldn't believe it. But yeah, you kind of knew that somebody was dressed as Callihan. But yeah, so lights had cut back on. Callihan was in the ring. He took out Omega with a bat, with his signature baseball bat. And so he got distracted by Don Callis. And so Omega ended up fighting back. Omega caught Callihan with the belt, so he hit Callihan with the World Championship. And so Omega, he tried to go for something. I think he tried to powerbomb him through a table, or he tried to go for a power driver. But Omega had gave him, or Callihan rather, gave Omega a low blow. And so, yeah, Callihan, he had gave Kenny Omega a package power driver, which had to hurt. It looked like it sucked, dude. It looked like it was brutal. And so, yeah, he hit the power driver on Omega. And so Callihan, he signed the contract. And so Callihan, he wasn't done. He was not done yet. So he picked up Kenny Omega and powerbombed him through a table. And so, yeah, that was it. That was the end of the show. And yeah, man, I'm not a fan of champions and challengers touching each other. Like, right before a big match, I'm not a fan of it because you just giving away parts of the match by having them touch each other and having them fight each other. Just save all the rage and anger for the match. But yeah, but I did love the build up, to the contract signing by them framing Sami Callihan, having him getting arrested, so he wouldn't show up for the contract signing. I thought that was really smart, but it did ended up blowing up back in their face. But yeah, with the contract signing though, I was expecting, Omega, the press conference contract signing, like when they did Omega and Rich Swann, I was expecting something like that with the contract signing, with the the unified championship match with Omega and Rich Swann. I was expecting something like that, but we didn't get anything like that. But yeah, that was it, man. That was it with the contract signing. The contract signings in general, man. You like it's the same old stuff. It never ends off good. Like somebody gets thrown through a table or something. But yeah, that was it, man. That was it. And that was it with the show, man. That was it with the show. overall, it was okay. It was all right. It wasn't the best show. It wasn't the best show. It wasn't a great show. It was okay. It was okay. But it was better than last week's show. It was better than last week's show. But yeah, it was okay. It was okay. The contract signing was good. It was really good. The lead up to the contract signing, him having Callihan arrested and all that stuff, I thought that was really brilliant. It was smart. And yeah, really didn't care about most of the matches on the show, but you did have some good matches on the show. And yeah, man, that was it, man. That was it with the show. And Slammiversary is looking like a great show. And yeah, man, I can't wait. I can't wait for Slammiversary because Slammiversary we will have fans back. We will have fans back in Impact Wrestling for the first time because their shows. If you watch their shows, man, you don't have nobody. You don't have nobody there. You have a piped in crowd noise. And when the pandemic when the pandemic started, man, when they were doing their empty shows, you ain't had no sounds at all. Not only did they have nobody, you ain't had no sounds at all. And so when I was watching, I was like, oh my god, man, it was depressing, absolutely depressing. But now, next Saturday, man, we will have fans back in the Impact Zone for Slammiversary. So I can't wait for that. Cannot wait. I think they'll be in that same studio, that same studio that they having their shows that they've been having their shows in. I don't know. But yeah, man, great thing we'll have fans, man. Great thing we'll have fans on that show because I said this last night, man. I said this last night in my AEW Dynamite review. Fans, man, it is just great to have the fans back because they made the show better. They make the show better. And so yeah, man. So that was it with Impact Wrestling. The review for Impact Wrestling for July 8th, 2021 on The Ryan Awesome Show. And yeah, man, if you like this video, hit the thumbs up, man. What are you waiting for? Hit the thumbs up. And if you're new here, hit that subscribe button. And right next to that subscribe button, there's a bell. Make sure you click on that bell to be the first ones to know when my next video is uploaded because I am here each and every single week. Follow me on Twitter at Ryan Awesome Show. And yeah, man, I'll see you guys on Tuesday, man. Because we don't have anything on the 9th, on Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. But I'll see you guys on Tuesday. And of course, I don't do Monday Night Raw, SmackDown. I don't review the shows. But yeah, I'll see you guys on Tuesday, man. See you guys on Tuesday. And yeah, man, if you guys missed my last week's review of Impact Wrestling, the video is going to be right up here in this corner. Video is going to be right up here in this corner, and the link to that video will be down below in the description. So either click this video right up here or click down below in the description if you missed anything. And yeah, man, comment down below, man. Tell me how you felt about this episode of Impact Wrestling. And yeah, man, share this video, man. Share this video with each and every single person that you come across on a day-to-day basis. And yeah, man, and once again, guys, thank you for the support. Thank you for the love and the support for my show. Thank you, and thank you, man. And I'll see you guys on Tuesday for NXT. And yeah, man, and this has been The Ryan Awesome Show. Take care, stay safe, and don't forget to be awesome. And that's that.